Hey goddess, let's talk. Hey everybody, welcome back to our Goddess Talks with Dr. Joy. I am Dr. Joy. I am your local sexologist, therapist, relationship expert, and just adventurer and one who likes to dive into different things for us to be able to look at our lives and especially our sensuality from different perspectives. So in our episode today, what we are going to be looking at is similar to what we did last time, which was looking at different perspectives of our sensuality, questions that we might have, things that we might be missing, things we might be desiring, and talking about some sensual and goddess medicine to kind of send you on your path to having some expansion in this space. Now, when I'm talking about sensuality, our sensuality can really apply to a lot of things. It doesn't have to be about sex. It can be about the way that you perceive yourself, the way that you perceive pleasure, the way you receive pleasure, the way you like to give it. It's really about having more of a self-awareness of desire so that you know what to utilize and play with when you are playing with other people, when you are with yourself. And again, when I'm talking about playing, it doesn't have to be sexual playing. To me, all of our energy is, let's say, sexual energy, right? And we can transmute it into different things. We can create different things. And so what I do is I kind of hone in on how can we learn the tools to expand in this space, right? To expand our sensual energy, to expand our power, making us more powerful in all types of other spaces, work, friendships, again, creation, those types of things in our world, okay? So listen. If you didn't know, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a straight up nerd. I am a doctor. I'm a researcher, right? So I like researching and creating and all those things. Listen, y'all, me being on my journey of exploring tarot, understanding tarot, I've loved it for myself, but I wanted to translate it for something for us here. So the last time we did our Sacred Sensual pull, and our Sacred Sensual Goddess pull. And I did that by utilizing 4 different decks. I had a tarot deck, I had a tea deck, I had a sensuality deck, and a goddess deck. Today I have condensed it to a tarot deck, a tea deck, and a goddess deck. But I will be using this particular tarot deck for 2 different sections, and I'll kind of talk about what that is. But here's the geekiness in me. I literally took the entire tarot deck and I translated it from a sensual lens, specifically a sacred goddess sensual lens, right? And I recreated or redid the entire tarot deck by hand for now. Eventually this will probably be a deck or a guidebook. This is probably everything that would be in a guidebook. So eventually I'll probably have a tarot deck with all the pretty pictures and the guidebook that goes along with it. But specifically, if you are someone who is wanting to read yourself or guide even others in understanding their sensuality, their strengths, our shadow side, all those things. And so I'm going to be utilizing this today to answer some of the questions that we might have about sensuality and talk about our sensual medicine, goddess essence, all those things. All right. So this is something that it took me quite some time to create this. I mean, this is me going to Michael's, cutting up some certain paper to do this by hand for now. So who knows when this will be created and into the rest of the world. But, at least for now, we can kind of try it out together and see how this translates. I like making things into our own or helping us even understand them a little bit deeper when we can intertwine it with the things that we are very much interested in. Okay. I know that there are decks that are probably kind of like this. Actually, look, this is not mine. This is what was interesting to me. The Lover's Tarot. I could put this information down in the description thing below if you want to. What's interesting with this deck, right? Okay, so you have like the 10 of Cups and they have like their picture of family, what you would typically see, but it also has kind of an affirmation or an understanding. I see myself having a happy family with you, right? So say you were wanting to maybe get a messaging or understanding or perspective from a person that cares about you or that you care about, something like that. But this is not the same. It's not necessarily messages from a person or anything like that. It's more insight into what it is that you're wanting to tap into. But just the concept of making it into your own lens is what I really appreciated. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start. All right. So tarot deck. This is the first time I'm using this. I mean, I've been kind of course, doing it on my own, but this is the first time I'm using it with anyone else, especially because it just took me so long to write so tiny. I also have my readers with me, and that's to read all the decks actually, and the guidebooks and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull 3 cards for this first row, and our first row is going to be representative of our lover girl. The lover girl posing the question, what are our truest, deepest desires that are maybe not being met right now, but we wish to have them or have more of them? Nope. So I have 3 cards for us to tap into for that. And then we're going to have our T deck, and our T deck is going to be representative of our shadow priestess. Our shadow priestess talking about what are the barriers to our sensuality, what are the ideas about our history, about ourselves, about culture, about whatever, what could possibly be, or about the relationship dynamics that we have, the people that we have in our lives. Good grief. Sorry. What about that? I have 3 cards that fell out. Is something that we need to be aware of. And then I'm going to talk about our, from the perspective of our pleasure maven, which is our 3rd deck, which is also from the tarot deck that I've created, the Sacred Sensual Goddess deck. And so we are going to talk about from the pleasure maven, basically the ritual or the medicine, the thing that we might be needing right now to address the sensual deficit or desire, right? And then last, we will have our goddess self, and we'll use our African goddess deck in order to pull a card from there. I'll just pull 1 from there, but I'll pull 3 from this deck. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. I pulled 3 already, and this is again from our lover girl. So the lover girl asks, what are our desires right now? What is it that maybe secretly or maybe not so secretly we've been asking for? What have we been thinking about? What are we really trying to manifest? So, and maybe where is there a lack, right? So let's see. First one we got is the lovers. So what we're going to look at, when we're looking at our desire or our lover girl, is going to look at the body part. There's body centers that are actually associated with each tarot card. So for the lovers, the body center that's associated with it is the heart, the yoni, and the lingam. The union of love and erotic desire. If you don't know what a yoni or a lingam is, a yoni would be our womb, a feminine space, right? Our womb, our sacred space. And for a lingam, it's going to be a masculine presenting person's sacred space, right? So their genitals, right? And when we have different genitals, right? So I'm talking about, this is a whole YouTube, me trying to know what I'm supposed to be able to say. A vagina and a penis, right? But when we're looking at it from this place, right, of a body center, it's not necessarily a body part. So the body center, we could also be looking at which chakra are we wanting to tap into, which energy are we wanting to tap into and have more of. So maybe we're wanting to have more of a heart energy along with the sensual energy, which is the union of love and erotic desire. So you may be desiring, say you're someone who has a lot of solo play, or maybe you are sensual with someone else, and that relationship is not one that is represented to you, that is tapping into your heart. Maybe it is tapping into your yoni. Maybe it is absolutely tapping into your lingam, but there's no connection with your heart. Or maybe you're with someone who they're not tapping into your yoni or your lingam, but they're very, very much heart, but there's not enough passion there, right? So the lovers are saying there is a desire to have more of that connected. Okay, so what I want to look at is the sensual medicine that the Lovers speaks of. So sensual medicine, this particular card teaches that true intimacy is choice, vulnerability, and erotic honesty. Okay, so you may be desiring more erotic honesty, which may not necessarily mean emotional honesty, right? It could be if your eroticism is connected maybe with your emotions, but it's just having the safety between lovers. And the lovers can often be, like, say, it's depicted as two people, but the lovers is often spoken about as maybe being this part, this the feminine part of yourself, the masculine part of yourself, those energies of yourself. Maybe you're wanting to have your own reverence of self. Maybe you're wanting to have more honesty, erotic honesty with yourself, right? And knowing that this is something that um it's a choice. It's not something, how can I say? Um you're not as restricted as you believe you are about exploring the desires that you have. You have more choices than you think. Things don't have to be this way or that way. There is a choice. And that actually deepens intimacy when you can be with a person, you can be in a space, and you can feel safe enough to flex your choices, so to speak. So this would be a desire that you have to have more choice, to have more freedom, to have more honesty in your eroticism. The next we got is King of Cups. So the heart center for King of Cups, I'm not the heart center, I'm sorry, the body center for King of Cups. Oh, actually, when it comes to, yes, okay, this kind of, there isn't a body center for this. Typically, when it's talking about King of Cups, it's talking about there's a whole body mastery. The kings of our decks are going to be, have mastery. So if it was a King of Swords, it'd be mastery of maybe intuition, thinking, intellect, right? This is an erotic intellect, having a mastery and knowledge of it. So being a King of Cups, King of Cups is going to talk about having mastery over your emotions, right? And having mastery over the eroticism, emotion, intimacy, connection, not feeling that one takes over the other, that there is a good balance there. Not feeling that I get so emotional, and emotional, let's say it gets, your emotions are attached to like anxiety or sadness. I get so overwhelmed with emotions that I either don't act the way that I want to, I don't ask for what I want to, or I cannot show up erotically the way that I want to, right? So what this is saying is that there is a desire to have mastery of your emotions, all right? So when we're looking at, let me look at, okay, yeah, this is identified as the erotic ruler, the erotic sage, embodied authority, wisdom, and pleasure. So you may, oh, there is a body center. I apologize. I'm like, where is it? Heart and mind are the body center, right? So having mastery, that's so funny. The Lovers is about like the eroticism, the heart and the yoni and lingam. So yeah, the King of Cups, heart and mind, it is that balance that I will not be overwhelmed. I'm wondering if there are situations that we can sometimes be in where, because we feel, ooh, this is very specific. Like say you're with somebody who you want to have an erotic experience with, or you want to in general have this erotic experience, but you're with someone who you feel a softness for, you have an idea around what is right. If I feel with my heart something for this person, should I act out in this erotic way? What does this mean, right? So that can get into a whole, our definition of what we feel is proper, what we feel is rejectable, that type of thing. If you have a space where you can be with a lover, where there is a balance of our erotic and our heart, we can talk about this safely. So being able to have mastery over your emotions, maybe there's something that you want to talk about and you want to not let your emotions take over and make you afraid of being honest about the eroticism, right? Being able to stay balanced and not, yes, being scared out of your desire. So having a mastery of that. And then this is interesting. The last one is strength. So it looks like a lot of mastery to me. Safety, mastery, the lover, safety, King of Cups, and mastery. And then strength. The body center is heart and hands. Gentle strength. Erotic taming through touch. Okay. So I'm wondering if one of the desires would actually be wanting to be able to, again, put your emotions together, your intimacy, your erotic feelings, right? Plus your hands actually put that in motion in a gentle erotic way. So it's very specific around gentle strength. So the strength could be even strength to um restrain yourself in a way where you are allowing the eroticism, the sensuality to unfold in a very slow but tactile way, specifically with the touch, and allowing yourself, because it could be yourself having that experience or another person to have this experience where you're utilizing your touch to grow heart, to grow eroticism. You're letting that fire kind of go slowly, but it goes deeper when you're taking your time. All right, so having the strength, the body center, and the sensual medicine here, okay, shows true power is found in softness, and surrender is a sacred strength. So this is the desire to have power in softness, right? To have power in presence, really just being present. So the desires have softness in being present, have mastery over one's emotions, and probably to be able to express more of your eroticism, right? And have a safe enough space to be able to combine our heart and our eroticism. Really wanting to be able to say, yes, I love being touched this way. I love being massaged this way, all these things. But I also love you, right? Or also love me, or I also love the experience of having emotions and that type of energy in this experience. It makes it better for me. Okay, so the desires, the lovers, the King of Cups, and strength. All right, so now I'm gonna get 3 cards from our tea deck. Okay. And 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so this is going to be our shadow priestess. Okay, so our shadow priestess, we are looking at what our barriers to our true intimacy and true self could be. All right, so this one I definitely probably will be my readers. Ooh, interesting. The first one we have is defensive. I'm sorry, y'all, because I know it's like the way the camera is. Ooh. Okay. Defensive. Defends their actions with convoluted reasons and theories. Twist the truth in order to cause confusion and chaos. Okay. So, a barrier that you could have could be sometimes yourself being defensive to things, especially if you don't feel safe enough. If you don't feel you have that, let's say, emotional mastery to be in a position and talk about things that are sensitive. You could be dealing with being defensive and not being able to say those things aloud, or there could be relationships that you're in where you don't feel safe. You have a snake on here. I know it's the other side, right? But you could feel that another person that you are with defends their actions with convoluted reasons, basically keeps you confused. You're not going to have this mastery of your emotions when you're in a space where someone is constantly trying to confuse you. All right. It's hard for you to have like a soft strength when somebody is trying to make you think something is something that it's not. Make you believe you can have something that you can't, make you believe that they are something that they are not, right? Or that they're interested in something that they're actually not interested. So this could be a barrier, maybe the company that you keep or your own defensiveness around things. All right. Our next one is I love this. It's short and sweet. You can see it. Okay. Brief love affair. Karmic connection with life lessons enhances understanding of wants and needs, moving forward with life. Okay. So this could be that this is something short. Maybe you have been in a short and sweet relationship recently. Maybe you're currently in one that you know is a short and sweet relationship, or maybe this is something that has been a pattern that you have now closed the cycle on that. Because a barrier to being in a space where you have this gentle eroticism, right? You can be slow. It's not just about having this passion. It's not just about basically being like a sneaky link. It's not just about like, oh, just hurry up and pull in your pants list. It's you want something that's slower. That's what the desires are saying. And so a barrier to that could be being engaged in short and sweet karmic connections that are blocking your ability to be able to grow that. Okay, and the last one is lovesick. Oh boy. All right, looks like a love potion to me. Let me see if y'all okay. Lovesick. Intense sadness or frustration that arises from being unable to be with a loved one physically or emotionally. Feels as if one can't move on. Okay. So did somebody have a short and sweet affair with the person who was defensive, and now you're no longer with them and possibly in a space of grief and feeling lovesick, right? And if you're not with the person that you feel that you want to be with, I'm going to look at what the rituals and some of the medicine and essence could be in order to move over this hump. But I could see this being a definite barrier to having that emotional regulation with the King of Cups, with using your heart yoni lingam, right? If you feel like you're not with the person where your heart is, you may be someone who can't be with someone with your yoni or your lingam, and that would stop you from having any of this exploration, at least with somebody else. And sometimes it could actually stop you from having exploration with yourself. I have found that after heartbreak, even though I do, like, everything is like a sensual thing, our sensuality can move into our grief and our sadness, and it can be quite an intense feeling. You know, when you think of like orgasm, you think of sensations. They build, they go down, they build, they go down, much like a roller coaster of grieving. It's all over the place. And you're not always going to be in that hot, passionate place. Some of the energy is going somewhere else. If I'm feeling depressed, if I'm feeling angry, I can't necessarily put that sensual energy into a sensual or a sexual expression, right? And so if it's not available because you're lovesick, again, some of this pleasure that is as necessary as our food and water is something that you would be blocked from. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and look at our third one, which is going to be our pleasure maven. So our pleasure maven, we're asking, what are the things that we need to have? What's the medicine? What's the ritual? What's the new perspective that we might need to be looking at in order for us to get over this hump, right? What's the thought process? So a belief is a thought that you have over and over and over again, and that's it. And your beliefs can change. You can change what you're thinking, but you have to practice something new. So for the pleasure maven, for each of the cards for our tarot, I'm going to talk about the affirmations that are associated with it, the goddess essence that's associated with it, and I'm also going to talk about a ritual that you can use today or whenever you want, and you can also utilize it how you like. Okay, so the first one that we have is the Five of Cups. This is very, very interesting because the Five of Cups is about sadness. It's about grief. It's about regret. More specifically, in our instance, it is going to be talking about erotic grief. Okay, longing, loss. So the goddess essence with the Five of Cups is the erotic mourner, Persephone, grieving, okay? Lilith reclaiming loss. So both of these are pointing to goddesses. Some may identify them as dark goddesses. Persephone is really the goddess of spring, but she's also the wife of, was it Hades? Okay, I might be mixing them up. But okay, the point is, these are two goddesses that represent the space of grieving, right? Here is the affirmation around it. I honor my grief and allow it to deepen my pleasure and passion. Grief is something that you not just must do, but you should do because you deserve it, right? You deserve to be able to not have stuck emotions, to move through the motions. It doesn't feel like we deserve pain, but we deserve to release pain. And if you don't move through it, it will stay in you some way. It will be a blockage in some way. So we deserve to release that. Even thinking of Persephone, Persephone, the ideology or the story around Persephone is the goddess of spring, but she gets to come out of where she is all year long to be able to come and give us spring and to enjoy that time of the year, right? That's the one time of the year that she has. But it's all about like coming from the depths of darkness and moving through that truth, and then still coming and growing something new all the time. It's a cycle. It never ends. It is a cycle, right? And so accepting that this is a part of a cycle, even erotic grief is a part of our cycle, honoring what we had, honoring what we felt was good, and then honoring our ability to make things good for ourselves. And that kind of comes down the road when we're stepping back into how can I be more sensual? And I feel like if you're here, even if you are grieving, right, you're in a space where you're asking, how can I get through this grief? How can I get back to my sensual self? Even if it's an old grief, those are things that they will just come up out of nowhere. Something will remind us of a situation of what we've lost. Maybe you even meet a person that's very similar to a lover that you had, but it only makes you remember how much you don't have that lover. That's not wrong. It doesn't also mean that you're not interested in the person that you're with and you're not looking to explore something different and healthy and new. It just is a part of your story, right? And really understanding that, accepting it and incorporating it, honoring your grief and allowing it to deepen your pleasure and passion. I feel like what we can do in those spaces is look at what we were able to experience, right? Not just what we lost. What is it? We could have not even had it in the first place. Honoring, knowing that maybe your body was able to reach a height, or you were able to be comfortable in a way that you never thought that you could be comfortable. Yes, you don't have it maybe right now, but it's evidence that it exists. And so it doesn't mean that you can't have it again. It is evidence that exists that feels so much better than I've never had it. Everyone says that this is a thing, but if you've had it, you know what it is, and you know that it is available to you, right? This is talking about in the second deck, like karmic connections. So the grief of it is also kind of letting go what doesn't serve you. A connection is lessons. What are you learning from it? In that grief process, when you're replaying things, you're thinking about things, it is not just to replay, to torture you. It is for you to have perspective and learn what I can do differently, how I can choose differently, and how do I see myself? What kept me in that space, and how do I see myself now, right? So that's just one word. Then we have the Four of Wands. Four of Wands right away. Foundation, right? So when we're looking at the Four of Wands, it's talking about erotic stability and joy, right? So if we look at I'm so sorry, I didn't give you the ritual in Five of Cups. The ritual is pour a small amount of water over your hands or your arms, symbolizing tears and release. Whisper aloud what you mourn and let it flow into empowerment. So that is the ritual regarding erotic grief. All right. If anyone needs any clarification or any other ideas on that, you can leave a comment. I will respond to your comments. I think my email is down there as well. You can also email me if there's any clarification needed for that. All right. So Four of Wands. What we're looking at for the goddess essence for this one is erotic sanctuary builder. Oshun, celebrating union, sacred space creator. So we're talking about celebrating union and sacred. Okay, so holding sacred space. So if you are desiring what came up, which is a space of feeling safe with the lovers, emotional balance, strength, being sacred and soft, right? So this essence of the Four of Wands is how to build that sacred space. So a part of the work that we would want to do is how to build the space, one, while we're grieving, but when we grow into the next thing, what is that new foundation going to look like? Which is why you definitely want to take the lesson from that grieving. So the affirmation for this one is, I celebrate the pleasure that grows in sacred, grounded spaces. Maybe that is the biggest lesson from the grief when you review everything, that what you need more than anything is not what was this? A short and sweet situation, not being with someone who is or who activates you being defensive, right? And not being lovesick anymore. What do I want my Four of Wands to look like? So let me tell you what the ritual is for this. Set up a sacred space with pillows, candles, or crystals. Move your body freely in celebration, honoring the sanctuary you create for yourself. So the Four of Wands, when we're building sanctuary, it's not just saying like, let's build a love shack for other people to be, but let's build the love temple for me to sit in and heal, right? For me to create new values and understandings of what safety even is. Let me show safety and stability, routine, ritual to myself, because then I know what that feels like to my nervous system to have that stability. And then I know what it feels like when another person is not offering me sanctuary or stability. I know it doesn't match with this energy. So this to me is this push to build that for yourself and let it be you either invite or allow people to stay in that space, but you don't necessarily look for people to want to be in your space. Make your space what you want it to be. All right. And the last one is the Hangman. Okay. So the goddess essence from the Hangman is the erotic surrenderer, ecstatic mystic. What does it say? Okay. Inanna hanging on the hook. Okay. Yeah, I get it. Alan suspended. Sorry, guys. I understand what they're trying to say, but what? Envision? Yeah. Suspended in vision. Okay. So what this is talking about, we're talking about the Hangman, surrender, suspension, even altered states of being, but it's kind of the opposite of what I was talking about, moving through your grief. Being in the Hangman space is being still. And that's where you are going to get insight, right? So the quote for here is, I surrender. I am reborn in divine pleasure. So surrendering and slowing down, this was talking about, our strength was talking about like slowing down, right? But slowing down in order for you to make space, to create a foundation, a sanctuary for you to grieve properly and get the lessons that you're looking for, makes sense. Okay. So honoring your grief, building sanctuary for your grief and your love. And the Hangman ritual is, yes, it's rope play, or simply lying back with your wrists loosely tied. Breathe into the stillness. Notice how surrender opens sensation. This also gives you this opportunity while you are, if what you are desiring, which is what it's saying here, touch, right? For you to start to touch yourself in a million sensual ways. Again, it doesn't have to be about the lingam and the yoni, but for you to start to touch and create sensation in ways that maybe you didn't even know that you could before. This is when you get to know your power of pleasure, the power to create your own pleasure. We make so many different decisions when we realize that the power is in our hands to create our pleasure. But it makes it so much easier than that when we move through our truth, when we go through the stories in our grief and our Five of Cups, when we create the sanctuary that will give us this incubator, this protection, this temple, while we're getting into a new paradigm and a new belief system. We can surrender to it. We can be still. We can surrender to ourselves and to our actual pleasure. Okay. So I have one last deck, which is going to be our goddess self. So I'm just going to pull one goddess card for us. Okay. I'm acting real cool right now. I'm just telling you guys, I'm super, super geeked out about this tarot deck that I created. I'm like, it has so much information. It's so good. And everything totally made sense to me. Everything lined up in terms of what the desires were, what the hangups were, and what our medicine is. So our lover girl, our shadow priestess, and our pleasure maven. I love this. Okay. We were just talking about Oshun, and what comes out? Oshun, fearless lover. And this is from our African goddess deck. This is a beautiful picture. She's holding a mirror, by the way. It looks like she's in her sanctuary where she is loving on herself and growing that energy and that expectation of energy. So let me grab over here looking like Harriet Potter. All right. Goddess of fearless love. Yoruba, Nigeria, excuse me. Temple, lovers, element is water. So Goddess Oshun is the exalted Orisha deity of honey sweet waters, love, sensuality, fertility, and beauty. But the Yoruba lady of gold, anger and jealousy can also flood and destroy. Oshun's guidance. Dare to love. Begin with loving yourself. Allow yourself to be loved. You feel everything deeply. You are porous with a wall around your heart. This is your paradox. Embodiment. You are love and you are worth loving. Your divine assignment is to remain open to fearless love. You deserve to be loved in your language. You are worthy of love that remembers your beauty at your ugliest moments. Don't allow your unhealed past to block your future. Real love is a sacred contract that says, I am vulnerable and committed. Your heart is safe with me. Let's expand our consciousness together. Goddess Declaration. I give love. I receive love. I am love. I give love. I receive love. I am love. Okay, so that was our pull from, our goddess deck, Oshun, Fearless Love. Our goddess archetypes have spoken. The lover girl has awakened our craving. The shadow priestess has unveiled our chains. The pleasure maven has invited us to soften and receive. And the goddess self has revealed the gift of our divine embodiment. May this wisdom not live only in the mind, but ripple through your breath, your touch, your steps. May you carry your sensual self as sacred medicine, and may your body forever remember you are holy, you are whole, you are home. So, okay, it was great spending time with everybody. I hope that you enjoyed what we talked about. You get a little bit of something from it. And I will see you again soon. Bye, guys. So, okay, it was great spending time with everybody. I hope that you enjoyed what we talked about. You get a little bit of something from it. And I will see you again soon. Bye, guys.